now we have our wallet up, and it is synced and up to date. You can tell this by the white check mark here, and if we hover our mouse over it, it says up to date, and we no longer get the red out of sync up here. And we've got a couple connections to the Breakout network, 5, and we'll get more as time goes on. I just started the wallet a few minutes ago. So one of the very first things you're going to want to do before we get into sending or receiving coins is encrypting your wallet. And basically that's just setting a passphrase for it, or a password. And you do that under Settings, Encrypt Wallet. I've already encrypted this wallet, but it will look very much like the change password, except it won't have this bottom line here. And it is imperative that you remember your password. There are 2 ways to lose coins in the cryptocurrency world, and one is to lose your password, and another is to lose your backup in case your computer goes down or you have a corrupt file. And we'll go over backups too. So you want to be really cognizant of writing your password down in a few places. Make sure you don't forget it. If you're the type of person that is pretty loose with your passwords, you don't want to be loose with your password here. Everything is permanent. You cannot recover your password once you have lost it. So make sure you do that. And the second thing you're going to want to do is make a backup. And rule of thumb for cryptocurrency is to at least have 3 backups. One on your local machine, one on a USB stick or some other hardware like an SD card, and also on the cloud. That's minimum, because if your machine goes down, you're going to want to have one on a USB drive or the cloud. So 3 backups minimum: cloud, USB stick, local machine, and you'll be good and safe. So when you go to back up your wallet, it's super easy. You choose a place where you want to do it, and I'll just go here, and generally I do it by date. So today's date is 1/19/17, and I'm going to call this one Breakout Bad because this is not my actual wallet. I don't want to confuse it with my other backups. I'll call it Breakout 2. You only need, so now I've just saved a backup, and we could also do one on a thumb drive. I could scroll down and choose my USB drive, and I've got several backups here already. You only need, you don't need to back up every day. You could recover all your coins from a backup that was created the day that you created your wallet, even if that was 4 years ago, or at the beginning of the creation of Breakout Coin. But it will take longer to sync. So just for that simple reason, I do backups about every week. But as long as you have a good backup of your wallet, doesn't matter if it's prior to certain transactions that have occurred. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a valid backup, you'll always be able to get your coins back. So do backups, do them often. Okay, so this is the main wallet screen, and over here are recent transactions are listed here, and this is overview. This whole screen here is what comes up first. So we have recent transactions on the right, and you can see that we've been sent 20 BRK in 10 BRK chunks in 2 different transactions. And if you look at here, we can see it in our balance. When they first show up, they'll show up as unconfirmed, and we'll get into that in a minute. But it takes a certain amount of confirmations till they can be spent, and that process does not take long for BRK. And I believe it's 6 confirmations. And because the Breakout chain supports multiple currencies, you also see Breakout's fake and sister coin listed here. But for today's purposes, we're just going to be talking about BRK, although everything we're going to learn today could be also applied to Breakout Stake and sister coin. Alright, so under send can look a little daunting to somebody who's not familiar with cryptocurrency wallets, but it's actually fairly easy. You have your default transaction currency right here, which defaults to Breakout Coin, and that's what you want. Coin control features is an advanced feature having to do with POS coins like Breakout Stake. And so we will get into that in a further video, more advanced video. So you don't need to do anything here. But if you're going to send coins to somebody, you would do that down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and send some coins to someone now. I have an address that I've copied, and I'm going to paste it there. And I don't particularly need a label. This would be from my address book, but I'll type a little note and say, here's 10 BRK. And then under the amount, I'm going to put 10. Okay, and send. It's going to say, are you sure? Because every transaction on the Breakout chain is permanent. So you want to really make sure that you're sending to the proper address and you've got the proper amount. Once it's gone, it's gone. So we're going to say yes, because we know what we're doing. And then, because we've encrypted our wallet, whenever we send coins, it's going to ask for the password. So I'm going to type in the password. And then it talks about a transaction fee. It is a very, very low fee. This is like a 20th of a BRK or 100th of a BRK. And so I'm going to say yes, I want to pay this fee. And boom, it goes. Now, go back to overview, and I'm going to go down to transactions now. And you can see actually the minus there, 10 BRK, and our recent transactions. But we can get more detail under transactions. And so you can see the question mark there. And that's because we haven't got any confirmations yet. We'll come back to this in a few minutes, and there'll be a little wheel that will show us how many confirmations. But if you look at some of these older ones that happened yesterday, I put my mouse over it, says 243 confirmations have happened since yesterday. So we're just waiting for like 6. It won't take very long at all. I have received coins in less than a second to up to 30 seconds. The Breakout chain is very fast. Alright, so that's overview and send. And you can also send coins to more than one person. So if you wanted to send 10 BRK to 10 different people, you could do that at the same time. So the fees would be very small. And you just use the add recipient, and it gives you another pay to address. And you can continue to do that as long as you have enough coins to support your transaction. Alright, so we've looked at transactions, we've looked at send, and we're going to look at receive. And under receive, we have 2 addresses here. One came pre-installed with the wallet, and that was this one. And I gave it a label, RSV1 for receive 1. And I created a second one, RSV2. You can create them and label them however you want to help keep track of different transactions. If you're always going to be getting a payment from a certain person, you could label it with that person's name. You can do that however you want, but when you want to create an address, a receive address for people to send coins to you, click the new address and create a label. Like, let's say Tom, because we're going to receive coins from Tom. So we'll say OK. Stealth addresses is another advanced feature we'll get into in a further video. There are lots of neat things you can do. And it's asking for my password again. With the Breakout chain, there's multi-sig, where you can have a balance of cryptocurrency that is controlled by more than one person. So if you want to spend coins, you need to get an electronic signature, an OK from the other party. And so those more advanced features we will get into in a further video. Alright, so we've created the label. We've created a third receive address. We call this one Tom. And so that address is now ready to receive coins. We can right click on it and copy address and send that to somebody and have them send us coins. Okay, now we've got the wheel and transactions because I have 1 of 6 confirmations. So once there's 6, the person that I sent them to can spend them, but he has to wait until he gets 6 confirmations. So he can already see the coin has arrived, and on his side it would show up as unconfirmed right here. Alright, so then we have an address book, and right now we have no address. We have the one address in there. We'll give it a label, edit, and we'll call that DRK main. Again, you can call these whatever you want. And you can copy addresses, new address. This is just a basic address book. And alright, so we'll get more into address book with QR codes and verifying messages in a more detailed, advanced video in the future here. Help at About Breakout will give you the version that it's on. This can be important in case we fork. You may get a mandatory upgrade notice, and so you want to be aware of what version you're on. And I think that's about it. We've sent coins. We have coins that we received. Alright, well that wraps it up. Remember your password. Save your backups. There are 2 kinds of people in the world: people who have lost data and people who will lose data. Don't be the person who loses their data, because